Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new video. So what we're going to be doing tonight is a little discussion. This is a question that I get very often on Instagram, on YouTube, anywhere. People basically asking me, should I go catless? Should I go catted? It's a very hot topic that a lot of people have opinions on. So I kind of just wanted to voice my opinion on it, kind of go over my perspective and kind of direct people which way they should go. A lot of people get confused with this because they think, hey, I want to make power, I have to go this way. That's the only option. So any car in the United States of America that is legal at least has a catalytic converter, which is also known as a CAT. It may have one, two, sometimes even more, and that is located on the back of the downpipe, which connects to the turbo. It comes right here, it comes down. What that actually does, it cuts down on emissions, obviously it cuts down on the smell as well, because if you've ever smelt a catless car, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It smells like rotten eggs. It's pretty terrible. It can give you headaches on long drives. My E46 M3 actually was catless at one point. And the smell was absolutely terrible. I was younger, so it didn't bother me as much. But now that I'm older, I cannot take the smell. It smells terrible. But so again, if you guys have ever smelt a catless car before, you'll know exactly what I mean. So when upgrading your car, obviously doing an exhaust is something that a lot of people do. And the main reason for that is because it opens up the flow. It allows the car to breathe much easier. It's bigger piping, a lot of benefits, plus you get a really nice sound. So when you start messing with the exhaust, more specifically the area where the CAT is located in the car, it can get a little bit tricky. Many car enthusiasts, of course, want more power. So everybody starts upgrading their cars. They start doing exhaust intakes, tunes, you name it. And one thing that people go back and forth with is, should I go catless or should I go catted? Let's go back about 10 years at least. The difference between a catted setup and a catless setup was pretty substantial. You were able to get a lot more power out of a catless setup. And simply put, the reason why you got more power was because the CAT was completely removed, the exhaust was way more free flowing, and there wasn't any restrictions or anything holding that power back. So it was able to gain more power very quickly, and they were also very cheap because all it was just pipe. There was no CATs or anything involved. There was no extra welding. It was literally just a pipe. And it removed that CAT. Obviously, then after that, you're going to need a tune to tune out the, check engine light, basically, because you're not running any O2 sensors. And it's going to make the car freak out, so you're going to have to get a tune. So now let's fast forward to today's age. In 2021, a lot has changed in terms of CATs. And what I mean by that is CATs have actually gotten way better, way more efficient. And there's actually really not that big of a difference between the two. And what I mean by that is if you go with a higher quality downpipe, we're going to use my car as an example. I'm running the Grimspeed Limited catted downpipe. Another really high quality one is the Cobb catted downpipe. And those two downpipes alone run GESI high flow cats. They're race cats. On the stock downpipe, it's around a 400 cell. And actually, I think it might be a little bit bigger. But on the aftermarket ones, like the Grimspeed or the Cobb, it's actually a 200 cell. And what that actually means is the actual size and how free it flows in the actual CAT. So the smaller the CAT is, the more free flowing it is. But obviously you run the risk of throwing codes and the car kind of acting funny. But like I said, in a higher quality downpipe, they use higher quality stuff. So in the Grimspeed, for example, they use as I mentioned, a GESI high flow race CAT. So what that is a much higher quality, better CAT, and you're going to be able to get as much, if not exactly the same as much as a catless downpipe. When people come to me asking the question, hey, should I go catless or catted? With this day and age, honestly, there's no question that you should go cats. Now, if you're going for really big power, and you're going with a custom setup, I understand that. Obviously, you're trying to get every single little tiny gain out of the entire setup that you have. So going catless is a wise choice in that regard. Obviously, another pro to catless is you get some giant flames out the back. Who doesn't like flames? I love flames. But for a basic street-driven car that you're not looking to push the boundaries, it's really, really silly to go catless. So why is it silly to go catless on a street-driven car? Well, these cars, turbo cars especially, there's something called boost creep. And what that means is literally that. The boost can actually creep over what your peak boost is. You can actually run into some issues because, say if your car is tuned for 20 PSI, boost creep can creep over that 20 PSI. Sometimes you can go to 22, 24, sometimes 30 by accident. It is a very, very common thing with catless downpipes or a catless setup. So it can get really questionable. Like I said, if you're running a custom setup, a fully built motor, rotated setup, something like that, going catless, that makes sense. For something like me that's simple bolt-ons running stage 3, quote unquote, going catted is honestly the best way to go. There are cheaper catted downpipes options out there, but the reason why they're cheaper is because it's a lower grade cat. So the odds of that cat blowing out in the future, as well as it not being as free flowing, you're not gonna be able to gain as much power. Those are some real things as well to consider. So personally, if you're looking to do a setup, where you're going to upgrade the downpipe and change out the cat, it's kind of a no-brainer in my mind. It sounds fantastic. Obviously, you don't get the giant flames out the back or anything like that. But if you're driving to work, driving your kids to school, picking up groceries at the grocery store, having flames come out the back, I get the fun in it. Obviously, who doesn't like flames? But it's just something that you really don't need. The power difference between the two is very negligible. You can get, like I said, just as much, if not the same as a catless setup. So as you can see, sorted down there, I have the Grimspeed heat shield, but I'm running the catted downpipe. As you can see, the O2 sensor right there. Kind of hard to see, but it's down there. I obviously can see the appeal of going catless, and the main reason for that is because catless downpipes are much cheaper. Because like I said, it's literally just a 3-inch pipe usually, just in the shape of a downpipe that fits this car. So the cost of those, it's much cheaper. You're not dealing with cats, you're not dealing with any bungs being welded in or anything like that. It's just a very, very simple, straightforward exhaust piece. So a catless downpipe typically goes for anywhere from, $300 to $400, where something like this goes for almost $800. So, there is a pretty big difference in price gap. So a lot of people, they just see the cheaper option and they think that is the best route to go. Now, tune-wise, no matter which option you go with, you're going to have to get a tune. No question. If you change the downpipe in your STI, you need a tune. And the reason for that is because either if you're not running cats or you're changing the setup, you're changing the flow of the motor. So if you don't get a tune, you just throw something on, the car is gonna freak out. It's gonna do some weird things, a lot of stumbling issues. It's not gonna understand how to read the gases coming through the downpipe after the turbo. So the O2 sensors are looking for that specific ratio of air flowing through that pipe, whether it's with a cat or not. So any difference from the stock downpipe, it's going to question, hey, where's the air that I was expecting? Where's the gases? Where's the ratio that I'm looking for? So throwing just a downpipe on the car and expecting it to run okay, whether it's catted or catless, you're in for a rude awakening. You're gonna have a lot of issues. So there is no question, no matter what, if you go catted or catless, you have to get a tune. And also something to consider as well, right now, in this day and age, catted downpipes, stock catted downpipes are going for a pretty penny. There's obviously news stories right now that, some stupid people are actually going out and going under trucks and school buses and all that and actually stealing the cats off of those vehicles because they're actually worth a lot of money. Out in California, especially, you're not allowed to have anything modified on your cars, because they're really cracking down on that, unfortunately. So a lot of people that are catless or modified, they're looking to go back to their stock catted setup. So a lot of people are either selling their stock setup or trying to buy it, and they are going for a pretty penny. Perfect example. Tonight, I actually just sold my stock downpipe. Luckily in New Jersey, we are emissions only, and I don't have to worry about anything modified. It's not a law or anything put in place where you're not allowed to modify your car like in California. So I don't need that stock downpipe. I ended up selling mine for 800 bucks. I ended up just sitting around. I had no idea, you know, it was even worth that much, honestly. And to be honest, that was sold for a very, very cheap price. I was looking on eBay. People are selling stock STI downpipes for like $2,500, $1,500. It's crazy. I mean, I get it, I understand, but at the same time, that blows my mind. So for me, I just wanted to sell it cheap, give someone a good deal, because honestly, I wasn't expecting to get anything out of it. So I ended up selling mine for 800 bucks, which is, you know, I'm thrilled about that. So if you are running a catted downpipe and you have your stock one laying around, highly suggest selling it because you'll make some really quick cash. A lot of people are looking for them, as I mentioned. The choice is yours. You know, obviously you can go whichever direction you want to go. A lot of people always ask me if I'm catless when they hear my setup. And they're very, very surprised to hear it is catted because usually, obviously, catless setups are much louder and they have usually a better sound just because there's no restrictions and it just, you know, sounds super aggressive. So a lot of people are surprised to hear that I'm catted, and I was on stock downpipe for, you know, 4 years, and I just recently went over to, you know, changing over to the Grimspeed one. So all my exhaust videos before I went to equal length headers going stage 3, that was all on stock downpipe. And a lot of people, as I mentioned, they were always shocked to hear that. So you can still have a really good sounding car with a catted setup. So please, please, I'm telling you, you know, I'm not some tree hugger or anything like that. I understand the importance of it. But, you know, really, really take a look at your options. I understand a catted setup is a little bit more expensive, but I promise you, if you want your motor to last, if you want your car to stay happy, especially if you're going for something as simple as I did, which is bolt-ons, it's definitely the route to go. There's no question. That is all I got for this video. Just a little discussion. Again, I get asked this question so many times, literally on the daily. So I figured I would make a dedicated video just to explain my perspective and what I think works best with these cars. It's much easier just sending somebody a video, you know, that has all my opinions, all my perspective in it, so they can watch it, get their opinion, and decide what to do from there instead of answering the same question over and over. That is why I do 99% of these videos, so I can help others out, help them decide on which route to go. If you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask below. I encourage it, actually. I like the questions. I like the conversation. It helps build the community around here. Plus, I can answer any other specific questions that you may have on catted or catless setups. I hope you enjoyed it, but in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you in the next one.